Also breaking tonight, hours of new video are released revealing more about a woman found dead in a hotel freezer. CBS 2's Audrina Begas joins us now. So you poured through this video. What is it showing us?
36 hours of video, and this was just released to us a few hours ago. This video shows Kenneka Jenkins walking into the kitchen, but we never see her entering the freezer. And tonight, that is why her family is not satisfied with the theory that she walked into the freezer on her own. Surveillance video shows Kenneka Jenkins walking with friends at the Crowne Plaza Hotel early Saturday morning. We see her a few hours later by herself. At one point, she stumbles out of an elevator. Later, she repeatedly hits the wall walking down this hallway. Another camera catches her running into a stairwell and then catching her fall. Video time codes appear to show Kenneka roaming the hotel for over an hour.
She's trying to find her way, and no one from Crowne Plaza Hotel responds to her.
Around 3:30 a.m., Kenneka enters a lower-level kitchen in the hotel. She walks out of frame, but then she's captured walking here on another camera. But we still don't see her entering the freezer.
I want to see her literally actually walking into this freezer and closing herself within this freezer.
I want all of the recordings, all of the communications, all of the reports, the statements that were taken. I want to know the individuals that were there.
Tonight, Rosemont police say 31 people were at the party with Kenneka inside the hotel room, booked with a fraudulent credit card. Police say they're still trying to identify and find 15 of the partygoers. Meanwhile, autopsy and toxicology results have yet to be released.
Why is Kenneka dead? That's where we need to be. We will get to the bottom of it. We will only go to where the facts lead us.
Kenneka's family attorneys say they will be conducting their own independent investigation. They're also considering a second autopsy. Rob and Erica, that's because there's still a lot of unanswered questions tonight.
You know, it's curious because we heard that the authorities were going to show the family the 36 hours of surveillance tape, but clearly they haven't seen it yet. Yeah,
at about 3 o'clock this afternoon, they said they had not seen that video, and they've been requesting it for about 48 hours.
Hello, you all. Welcome to my channel. If you are a returning subscriber, what's good? If you are new, hey boo, I am back with another video. So, another case that had always had me on the edge of my seat, very much so similar to the Shanquilla Robinson story. I remember this story about Kenneka Jenkins. I remember vividly. I was working at the airport during this time when I heard about this story. For the ones that don't know, Kenneka Jenkins, she went to a hotel party with some friends at the Crowne Plaza in Chicago and ended up dead in a hotel freezer, okay? I remember this story went so viral, just like the Shanquilla Robinson story. I can never get this girl Kenneka Jenkins out of my mind either, because both of their stories are very much so similar. First of all, when I heard about the story, it didn't make sense to me, okay? I remember everybody was trying to figure out, how did this girl end up in a hotel freezer? It didn't make sense, okay? And for the ladies that's listening in on this channel, if you have ever went out anywhere, you ever been around some friends and you might have got drunk, I was looking at that video. That was a very chilling, disturbing video of her walking through that hotel. You could clearly tell that when she was walking, it was almost as if she was trying to find her friends. They say she stumbled around that hotel for over an hour. And see, this is the thing, because what you see on the cameras is always a deeper story behind what you don't see, okay? So we're going to break down and decipher behind this, because this is a story that has always touched me. Back then, I didn't have my channel. But now that I have my channel, we're going to talk about this story once again, okay? You already know I'm going to come and give my take and my opinion on things. But first of all, let's just point out the main fact. The one thing that angers me and I don't understand. When it comes to black women, and I don't care what nobody say, disagree all you want. The black woman life is not valued. You seen how they treat the Shanquilla Robinson situation. Her killer's still out here living scot-free while she's 6 feet under. Okay, yeah, we're gonna talk about it. They did the same thing they did with Shanquilla Robinson. They did the same thing with Kenneka Jenkins. They didn't even try to help the mother in no sort of way. The mother had to do all the investigation herself. I remember how upset that woman was. I remember listening to her story on WGCI, Chicago radio station. But Kanika Jenkins was from Chicago. Her mother came on 107.5 WGCI, and she talked about the story. She talked about how unfair the situation was, how she felt like her daughter didn't get justice. She didn't get her answers. She didn't get a thorough investigation of what happened to her daughter. How is it that my daughter walked into a freezer? Where is the video surveillance of my daughter walking into this freezer? This a hotel. Y'all should be able to pull the cameras and show my daughter walking into this freezer. Nobody could provide her that information, okay, which I thought was fishy. She had every right to feel how she felt about the situation. Now we gonna get into these Grammy friends. After y'all done listening to my video on my channel, y'all are not gonna book any outings. Y'all not gonna go on no summer vacations with these type of women. I'm telling you, you're gonna be saving your life. You're gonna be sparing your life this summer. Let's get into this whole thing. She went to a party with her quote unquote friends. Let me tell y'all something. I'm from the city, okay? Born and raised Southside Chicago. When you grow up in a city like Chicago, you develop a certain kind of mentality living in a place like that, okay? Most of the women, and I'm not saying all women, but majority of the women there, they have a certain kind of mentality. They have this gutter, careless, cold, callous kind of energy. Living in a city like Chicago, you kind of out for yourself living in a place like that. And for the ones that's listening on my channel, girl, I'm from Chicago. I ain't never had to deal with nothing like that. You know what I'm talking about. Then certain areas of Chicago. I'm not talking about Chicago in its entirety, because I said before that Chicago is a beautiful place. But it's certain areas of the city that you know how the area is and how the people are in those areas. So don't come on here trying to act clueless and oblivious to what I'm saying. Because if you from the city, you know I'm not telling a lie. A lot of the women move real shady and sneaky there. Okay? And I'm speaking from personal experience now. Don't come trying to argue with me in the comments. None of that. I'm turning my comment section off. I was born and raised in Chicago. I know what it's like living there. Okay? I done came across plenty of women like Kanika Jenkins friends. Okay? I done grew up around women like that. I know how they move and operate. When Kanika was walking through that hotel by herself, you could tell she didn't have no real friends. She didn't. They did not care about the well-being and the safety of Kanika. All the women that she walked in that hotel party with, it was one friend out of that group that was her best friend, Monifa. The other women were acquaintances. And it was said that the women at the party, Kanika had beef with them. Okay, them weren't really her real friends. So it sounded like a setup. Jealous, envious women will always try to set you up. They will put you in a room full of people that don't like you. They know that you have beef with these women, and they will invite you to certain environments where they know your enemies will be at. Keep that in mind while I keep telling this story. Them was not her real friends. Just like Shanquilla Robinson went on that trip to Cancun, Mexico with some people that she thought was friends. Kanika Jenkins, when you look at her, you could clearly tell she was a beautiful woman. If I can remember vividly, I think she was 21 or 23 at the time. She was young, okay? I was looking at pictures because during this time they was doing an investigation of her death. Everybody was going to go check out her and a friend's social media pages like Facebook and stuff like that. Everybody was going on Kanika page. They was going through her pictures and stuff. Now, judging from the pictures, she's a pretty girl, okay? She is the type of friend that a lot of women would be envious of. You can tell just by looking at her pictures. She very fashionable. Now, I have told y'all this on my channel before too, that Chicago women, you can spot a Chicago woman from a mile away. We got a certain kind of style about ourselves that sets us apart from other women, okay? Every city girl know that we have a different kind of style. Even women in different cities. New Yorker women, they know how to dress. The women in Houston, they know how to dress. They have a different kind of style. The women in Philly, they have a different kind of style. but we all relate because we are city girls. Okay, not that kind of city girl, but we are from the city, so we have a different kind of style. Okay, Kanika had that kind of style. She was a very fashionable kind of girl. She knew how to show up and show out. You can tell just by looking at her pictures. Now, it's two different types of Chicago women, and we're going to get into that. You got the Chicago girl. She a city girl all day, every day. She know how to show up and show out. She know how to have a good time and turn up. And you got the other kind of girl that's grimy. Gutter, hood. Okay? She don't care how she look coming out the house. I'm just coming and keeping it real now. Please do not take offense. You surround yourself with a woman like that. If you coming how you coming, and everybody already know that Chicago is the party city. Okay, every day is turn up day in the city. So they going out thinking they about to have a good time. She ended up getting drunk. You could clearly tell that the women that she was with, they couldn't have been no real friends of hers. These had to have been, and just like I said in the last video, a lot of these women that y'all surround yourself with, these are not friends. These may be acquaintances, associates. Acquaintance and associate is completely different than a friend. Everybody is not your friend. You can tell that these are women that she might have not really hung out with as much. Do not surround yourself. Do not let your guard down. Do not get to drinking and carrying on around acquaintances. When you know someone is your best friend, it's your ride or die, you can let loose around your best friend. Y'all already know how this situation go. You cannot be letting loose and carrying on certain ways around people that you don't really know like that. I was thinking back on the situation with her mother. That stuff was so sad. Like, I felt so much hurt for Kanika's mother. I remember her name too, Teresa. But that woman was so hurt. Like, the way that they treated the situation with her daughter, that was just so low down and disgusting. I remember the city went on a petition, justice for Kanika. Okay, everybody had their purple on. Everybody was really, it seemed like the community cared more about her death than the justice system. Okay, we just gonna say that. Like I say, Black lives, they do not matter to certain kind of people. We just gonna say that. They treated this case with Kanika Jenkins like it wasn't even important. Now, for the ones that's really listening in on this channel and you from the city, you already know that crime is a normal thing in Chicago. Unfortunately, we have lost a lot of lives in Chicago. Gun violence, to be specific. But the one thing that they try to sweep up under the rug a lot is these questionable, senseless kind of deaths. We understand that the crime rate is high in Chicago, but you don't treat no situation like that. You don't do that to the family. Every person deserves justice for their child. They deserve answers. Period, point blank. It's always senseless deaths happening in the city to our women. They always seem to brush certain things up under the rug. Okay? They don't take these type of things seriously. They, the same way they did Shanquilla Robinson, they did the same exact things with Kanika. Now, I'm reflecting on the video that I seen. I ain't gonna even lie. Some people, it seemed like they was just talking about Kanika Jenkins because they wanted clout. They wanted the attention and focus on them. They didn't really care about this girl death like that. And it was a lot of people that was genuinely concerned about Kanika. Her mother, the community showed so much love to the mother. Okay, that's one thing I will never forget. The one thing I could say about my city, even though the crime rates may be high and we got a lot of shiesty, grimy people that live there, we know how to come together as a community when stuff like this happens. Okay, we know how to speak out. We know how to be a voice for the voiceless. Okay, we know how to speak out and try to seek justice for certain situations like this. Everybody was on the mother's side. Everybody wanted justice for Kanika. Okay, because the situation, it just wasn't right. Nobody could tell the mother how her daughter ended up in the freezer. The friends was acting funny. They energy was funky and janky and grimy. They couldn't tell the mother nothing. They had this girl car keys, her personal items, but they didn't know where she was. This case is so weird and mysterious to me. We're gonna always have questions about this story, but they said the girl was in the freezer for about a day or two before they found her. Okay, the mother said they would not let her see her daughter. Dismissed this concerned mother, shooed her off, and told her to come back the next day. They didn't allow her to a certain part of the hotel. She said she even had issues getting an autopsy on her daughter. Her body froze to death, y'all. The stuff was so sad. So sad. And it was another thing that I had seen on social media that I want to come and kind of bring light to. Before we get into these Grammy, shicey kind of friends and how these women operate, why you need to stay away from these type of women, let me just point this out. When a person passed away, when situations like this hit the media, you need to be respectful. I've seen a lot of disrespectful things with that case. You need to give respect to the family. I can tell some people was outraged. They was in their emotions. That's understandable, but you got to give respect to the family. It was certain people that was posting pictures of how she looked it in the freezer. But when I seen that, I'm like, it's a lot of people that are really moved and touched by this situation, which was understandable. But you're not giving respect to the fact that this family is grieving right now. They don't want to get on social media and see a whole bunch of pictures of their daughter or their family member dead in a hotel freezer. That's distasteful. That's disrespectful. And some people, they don't know no better. They don't know when certain types of things are inappropriate. And the one thing I had noticed that really stuck out to me, that I thought was odd and strange, everybody had more sympathy for the situation in the mother than her own so-called friends. Their behavior was really weird. Okay? It was said that she was set up. And I really do believe that's what happened to her. Some women will set you up and leave you out to fend for yourself. If a woman is jealous of you, this is why it's important, why I keep coming to make these videos about social cues, knowing how to read the room. You really need to know how to read the room. It's so many different types of women. It's certain caliber of women that you do not want to be in the same room with. You don't want to put yourself in that situation, that predicament, okay? Because it looked as if she had came on her own. If you look back on that video camera, it looked like she was with 3 or 4 girls. But she ended up wandering through the hotel by herself. If y'all know Crown Plaza, I had a family member that worked there before. The Crown Plaza is huge. That's a big hotel. Just imagine somebody stumbling through that entire hotel by themselves. A friend is not going to let you be all out of your body like that. A friend is not going to leave you by yourself in them type of conditions. That's the one thing that was unsettling to me and let me know that she was not with real friends, because a friend is going to be by your side when she see that you out of your body. She going to be basically babysitting you. Okay, y'all know how y'all have ever been that friend to where you holding her hair over the toilet, you doing this, you doing that, you being a designated driver, you ain't letting her drive because she had too much to drink. You are that type of friend. You are a good friend, okay? Let me just say that. But a real friend is not going to leave you to fend for yourself. Anything could happen to you being up under that state. When you are under the influence, you are not aware of what's going on. Y'all see how she was stumbling and staggering through that hotel like that. That was heartbreaking to watch. They showed her last and final moments of being seen alive. That was chilling as well. She was not in her right mind. She bumped into that staircase. I'm like, wow, where's her friends at? It had to be a couple of people from the party that might have been wondering where she might have went. But that was a long time for her to be stumbling through that hotel, a whole hour. Come on now. It was even puzzling. How did she end up in the hotel freezer? Them places always be ducked off. in a secluded, private kind of place. I heard some people say that she was lured to the hotel freezer. I don't know how true that is, but the only point that I want to push in this video is that she did not have real friends, because she shouldn't have been wandering through that hotel by herself, drunk at her man like that. A real friend gonna be like, girl, you ain't leaving my ass out. You ain't leaving this room. Don't you get up and go nowhere. Sometimes that's what come along with being a real friend. You see somebody vulnerable in a state like that, you don't let them wander off by themselves. A real friend, they know when you on one. They know when you have had too much to drink. They need to keep a close eye on you to make sure you straight. A real friend is gonna make sure you straight. They not gonna leave your side. They not gonna leave you wandering while you drunk. They not gonna even let you out of their sight if they're a real friend. It was too many people in that hotel party for her to be walking through that hotel by herself. That's hard for me to believe that nobody noticed that she was gone. That's what the friends told the mom. They didn't know where she went. So neither one of y'all noticed that she left the hotel room by herself. Y'all see she drunk out of her man. You, like I said, you can tell when you have a friend and when you don't. She was around some women that them wasn't her real friends, okay? They didn't care enough about her to be concerned about her well-being. It's really sad how women be operating and moving out here. They really be trying to act like they your friend when really they don't care about you. When you go out with women, y'all go in groups together, do not be around women that they don't care about your safety. These will be the type of women that will set you up to have something done to you. Now, I don't know what's true about her ended up in the hotel freezer, whether she was lured there or not, but it was a lot of fishy things going on with that story. But all in all, you don't want to surround yourself with women. You can tell they don't really like you well enough. They don't have a close enough connection with you to care about your safety. The friends had her car keys from what I remember. It was said that they came in her car. She could have been the one that drove them there. I could see them holding on to her keys so that she wouldn't try to drive. But she shouldn't have been wandering that hotel by herself. I seen the videos from this situation. It was a lot of people at that hotel party. Okay, somebody should have known where she was at. Somebody should have been a friend enough to stick by her side. But that's just, I'm just speaking from being a city girl, things that I have experienced. Growing up in the city, being around certain women, you can't outfit yourself. You can't expect for nobody to really protect you like that. Okay, certain women, they only care about themselves. They don't care about your safety. And then this is another thing too. Don't be around women that it seems as though not only do they not care about your safety, they don't care about their safety as well. Don't expect a woman that don't care about her safety to care about yours. If she always seems to be putting herself in certain environments where it's a lot going on, a lot of drugs and alcohol, a whole bunch of men around, not even being aware of what may happen. And for the people that's listening in on this video and they from the city, y'all already know how it is in the city. Being around in certain parts of the city, going to certain environments, going to certain parties, hotel parties, house parties, it's a certain kind of energy in the bag. Okay? Y'all know what I'm talking about. I don't even have to say too much. Living in the city like that, some people tend to develop a certain kind of mentality. It can be a little ruthless. You kind of have survival mode living in a city like that, but at the same token time, you become emotionless. Like you move and operate a certain kind of way living in a city like that. Any city girl that has grew up in rough, violence infested kind of areas, you know what I'm talking about. It's a certain kind of mentality that you develop, okay, unknowingly. Sometimes you are not aware, you know, but you have to have a certain mentality where you have to protect yourself. But it's another kind of mentality to where certain people become ruthless. These are not the type of people that you want to surround yourself with. They're involved in certain kind of things and they hang around certain kind of people to where they really just don't give a damn about you. Sometimes it's personal and sometimes it's not. Some people are just selfish. They don't care about nobody else's life. That's how it is coming up and living in Chicago. It just is what it is. And that's why I chose to move from out of the city. And sometimes you got to remove yourself out of certain environments. And I think I may make an updated video about, you know, you want to leave the hood, you want something better. I may make another video about that. you know, city girls. If y'all looking for a video like that, you live in the hood and you want to change your environment, stay tuned for their video. They may be coming up next. But all in all, you just can't trust certain women because they move very grimy. They're shicey kind of women. They're careless, ruthless kind of women. They don't care about your life. But they most definitely didn't care about this woman, Kenneka Jenkins' life either. And so that's just how I'm going to end the video. Y'all stay safe out here. Continue to protect y'all soul and spirit. And I will talk to y'all in the next video.